that his murder was justified. We're living in a world where another unarmed brother in a different section of the country can be shot down for no apparent reason, left lying in the street like a dog for 5 hours. And when the citizens of that community protest the shooting, the National Guard is brought in, not to arrest the murderous cop who shot him down, but to incarcerate persons for exercising their First Amendment right. We live in a crazy world. We live in a world where a professional athlete will punch a defenseless woman, knock her slap cold out in an elevator, and then drag her out the elevator like he's taking out the garbage, and never have the nerve, the gut, or the compassion to call emergency personnel. And finally, we live in a world where those whom we have counted on through the fit dust are now the very ones seeking to manipulate and exploit us. And the question this afternoon that confronts us is, where do we go? Where do we go? With the authorities who have sworn to protect us are the very ones who find comfort victimizing us. Where can sisters go when the brother who vowed to love, honor, and cherish her is the same joker who finds joy assaulting and humiliating her? Where can the children go when the parents who expect to protect them are the very ones who not discipline them but take out their frustration and their anger on them? Well, David gives us the answer. David says, the angel of the Lord encampeth round about those who fear him, and he delivers them. The word fear means to have a godly reverence for the Lord. In other words, David says that God guarantees that he will protect those who have a godly respect for him. Now, I know God is love, and I know God is kind, and I understand that God is merciful. But please be clear, this is a conditional promise. This promise of protection is extended only to those who display a godly reverence for the Lord. In other words, I cannot live any kind of way and qualify for this promise. I can't say everything I'm big enough and old enough to say and be the recipient of this promise. I can't do my own thing and be in a time of trouble running to God, trying to hold him accountable for this promise. But David said, even before I called the Lord, he has directed angels to surround me just because my life pleases him. I might lose my job, but I'm protected from poverty because the angels of the Lord have surrounded me. The bounty of the Lord. I might lose my good health, but I'm protected from despair because if I close my eye in this world, I'll open up in the world of God. If I lose my economic stability, I'm not going to lose my mind because the angels of the Lord reminds me that keep the perfect peace if you keep your mind stayed on me. And regardless of the haters in your life, you just tell the haters, if I walk in the pathway of duty, and if I work to the close of the day, I shall see it in all of its beauty. When I'm gone, the last night, of his promise. Look at verse 10 and we'll finish. Verse 10. The lions may grow weak and hungry, but those who seek the Lord lack no good thing. in the skill of David as a writer and the skill of David as an encourager is never more evident than in this verse here. Because David contrasts two seemingly unbelievable statements with one another. He first declares that the lion, the king of the jungle, the strongest animal in the animal kingdom, the unsubduable foe, David suggests that they might grow weak and be hungry. Because of where Israel and Judah were located, persons who would read David's writing was very well aware of the presence and the prominence of the lions. As a matter of fact, most communities employ a system that warned residents if lions were spotted. David's audience would never believe that a lion would be weak or hungry. But on the other hand, the Israelites were very familiar with their fellow countrymen going without the necessities of life. As a matter of fact, you remember that history includes 430 years of slavery, so they were very familiar with persons going without the necessities of life. And David has chosen to use two polar extremes to make a point that he does not want his audience to ever forget. He says, when anyone makes the decision to seek the Lord, and the word seek in this instance means to pursue, to run after, to chase after God with all of one's might. David says to them, the one who's willing to chase after God with everything they have will never lack anything. And to make the point even more forceful, he incorporates a greater extreme. He says the lion, the king of the jungle, may be hungry and may not have everything they need. But any child of God who will diligently seek him shall lack no good thing. Now, I don't know if y'all believe in shouting or not, but when I read that, I almost lost my mind. That if I pursue God with all of my mind, with all of my heart, with all of my soul, no good thing will he withhold from me. I wanted to shout because that informed me that my blessing is not tied up in who likes me. I wanted to shout because that informed me that my blessing is not determined by who back I scratch. I wanted to give him glory because that indicated that my blessing is not connected to what organization I'm a part of. But if I just seek the Lord with everything that's in me, no good thing will he withhold from me. And as I have matured in the Lord, I've discovered that God is a promise keeper. Because anybody can shout over a manifestation of God's supernatural favor. Anybody can shout over money in the bank and groceries in the cupboard. Anybody can shout over God fulfilling his word. But only mature saints are able to shout over a promise. So when I come to church, regardless of what's going on, and regardless of what's going down, regardless of the you will